Hello, hey, hi, social media family. Being of whatsoever races, but then not necessarily being of whatever life, factions of society, or lifestyle preferences. And being of the old, young alike, of both the two sexual genders, representing not only that being of the human species, but then nevertheless the global community within this post 911 era or new millennium of the apocalyptic day and age, and where's the doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes to midnight, compared on to how formerly, previously, or prior to then, it was at a quarter midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times. How are you all doing? Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay. If not better yet to be said, to be feeling all right. But if not best of all to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly become or be stressed. You and yours, your family and friends, and hopefully me and mine likewise as well, all the same. Well, so I say to you all, being of not only of my social media family, but for that being of the persons among yourselves of any visitors to that being of my own, excuse me, particular social media channel or chat room as we have it here. Being as I am an account holder for this one particular social media website address, as well as I have that of accounts with any others or some as such, or quite a few, for that being the competition for this particular one, But then if you could possibly come into that of my own personal chat room, or for that being a reason or purpose is to become or be a participant for my channel, or this, the same, the said in question, another form of previous prior mention of a social media website address, being of which that my person am an account holder of, then you're more than welcome to, provided that, or with the exception, that provided that you don't come in here like, or with the exception being, or whatever I've said, if you are other likes of one of those internet trolls and or intranet trolls for that matter, depending on whether I were to broadcast, excuse me again, for that being of my own personal network, being of which I myself can or could possibly receive electronic frequency transmissions to get things up and running, or be I were to be utilizing that of some of such being of the same nature for that of some kind sort of type of a business establishment facility, be it public or private. And that is including if it were to be of a branch public library. But then don't come in here attempting to cause havoc or chaos. I'm sorry, you all. I seem to be having a rather compulsive disorder at the moment at this late hour. Or hopefully not an itch or rash. I don't like to look like ragamuffin. Though I had stayed up past my bedtime hour. Well, hopefully not so much as purposely, but then, as you know, as I have informed that of your persons time and time again, I have this one proverbial neighbor from damn hell, excuse my language, pardon French, of a public nuisance, of a problem neighbor, being of whom goes all out of his way to attempt to make my life a living damn hell for whatever kind of creep as well as crackpot or crank that he is, and as I suspect him to be reflecting that of the character of whereas he would come off as the real life Hannibal in that of the movie flick or film called by its title of Silence of the Lambs, or like someone or such another sicko or psycho male character, being of which is portrayed or depicted in still another one of those sorts or types of movie flicks, films, or Hollywood, California, or Hollywood, California motion picture productions like the one called by its title of that of Psycho, like one of those others in that the movie Death Wish 1, Death Wish 2, Death Wish 3, and or etc. Any others like it. All right. And whereas I have yet to regain my composure regardless of how this one proverbial neighbor from hell or Republic's problem neighbor could possibly be attempting to make me feel quite or very much so on the edge. Quite is an understatement. It's not that. Or be attempting to drive me completely bonkers with that of his quite regular, usual, daily and or nightly routine of orchestrating and initiating two-cent power plays against that my person, or how he himself just continues to make all of this here extreme and excessive, all this stuff, all that, all these or those, or how he continues to make all of the different sorts or types of extreme and excessive noises of different ones upon a daily and nightly basis. In that same line of thought, in a sense of word, for reasons or purposes being in order to drive me completely bonkers for whatever he himself has assumed to have become or be a legit reason, being of which is to have me be subjected to experiencing that of his 2-cent power plays, and assume legit personal vendetta or grudge match with me. But then getting back to some of such other before I were to lose my train of thought and disregard any interruptions you may hear coming from the likes of him. Okay. And I'm sorry about me, going about with some such at this rather late hour. Like I have quite a bit of a compulsive disorder, but then I have yet to get back in a much more serene frame of mindset, regardless of this one proverbial neighbor from hell, or probably this problem neighbor, being of whom would attempt to cause me to lose sleep upon a regular basis or attempt to throw a monkey wrench in that program. So if I am broadcasting at this rather late hour and it's like, about a few hours past my bedtime hour, being which is that of 11 p.m., which I usually try to call it night by then, regardless of any proverbial neighbors from hell, dickhead prick characters of males or the likes, who are poor excuses of men as they are nothing more than cowardly bullies and terrorist wannabes, and as more than quite a few of them are of the likes of closet male sexual predator animal monster characters. So just bear with me while I get out this line of thought. Sorry if I had mouthed off pretty much so like a drunken sailor with a combination of words being of which I had, mouthed off or mentioned earlier, not that I had to go there, but then you could evidently obviously see how I myself, being that my person, I'm not really in one of my better or best moves at the moment, being because of this freaking idiot loser jerk, of a real stupid old dumb called sicko psycho, cowardly bully and a terrorist wannabe. Being the likes of some kind of a closet psychopath and a closet sociopath and a closet sadomasochist and a closet sadist. But then stupid does as stupid feels, and I would just have to pray for this loser, as well as I could pray for a flesh and blood brother, then of whom hates me like Cain killed Abel, and whereas he himself neither or nor has a legit personal vendetta or grudge match with me, being that of my person otherwise, regardless of how he himself assumes that he has likewise as well, or all the same. Yes. So I say to you all, being my social media family and any visitors to my channel, as we have it here, a public social media broadcast, for my own personal chat room, as I am account holder for this particular social media website address. So I say to one and all of my social media family and or visitors. My social media family being of whatsoever races, like any visitors, but then not necessarily being of whatever walks of life, factions, or societal lifestyle preferences, though some or such others of my visitors could possibly be likewise of whatsoever races. But then, unlike my social media family, who is not whatever walks of life, factions, or societal lifestyle preferences compared to how they, being among themselves or visitors, may be. And so I say, likewise, to those being a person of my social media family and visitors alike, being of whom are in addition, as well all the same, also of the old and young alike, of both two sexual genders, of males and females, representing both of the two sexual genders, not only the human species, but then nevertheless the global community within this post-911 era of a new millennium of this apocalyptic day and age, and where's the doomsday clock, being of the military arsenals of the remaining superpowers, is something like at a few minutes to midnight compared on to our formerly produced or prior to then. It was at a quarter to midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times. How are you all doing? Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay. If not, better yet to be said. All right, or if not, best of all, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed than stressed, or too blessed to possibly become or be stressed. You and yours, your family, friends, or as I was saying, formerly previous or prior to then, or much earlier. And hopefully, me and mine are feeling like so in that same line of thought, in a sense of word. But then, nevertheless, whatsoever that my person can or could possibly speak upon, be it a one subject matter or another, and be it a controversy or not, and be it a plague upon any given society or country or nation, wherever in the world or not, and be it of an issue that has yet to be resolved if it has not been already or not. But then don't kill the messenger, I'm just here to deliver. And hopefully with that much less usages of experience of profanity, much rather than instead of with that much more cuss words to simply say, whereas I would not want to be that much more cussing and swearing like a drunken sailor, than how I would much rather prefer that I would do that much less like so. And therefore, hopefully, that much less like someone or such one, being of whom is supposed to be believing God as a Christian, aka protest. No, don't even go there. Don't even try it. Don't even cease. Don't even think it. Cease. Stop that now. Quit. Cut it out. If anything, hopefully, I would sound and or seem like, or as I am in all reality, hopefully, I would be mouthing off or express myself like a believer in God as a Christian, aka protestant. Not that I meant to contradict myself, but what I'm trying to say is, as I think of it with a mind's intention, put forth the effort to convey this here line of thought in the same sense of word, to verbalize, whereas I do not wish to sound and seem like that or vice versa, that hopefully not like someone or such one who is supposed to be a believing God as in Christian, aka Protestant, mouthing off or express myself like someone or such a one of a nature, being of whom has gone astray, being of that sheep that has strayed away from the 99, being of the likes of the lesser two evils, as in prodigal son, playing the part of the devil's advocate, and that has yet to make amens and come back into the fold, and establish that rapport once again with the God of my own understanding, being of whom I choose to call our Lord and Savior Christ, as I deliver, or as I recognize and realize him to be the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, and the Prince of Peace. And whereas the worst of two evils is none other than the likes of those being of whom are among themselves, of the worst or the worstest of unbelievers and unbelievers, being the deceivers who pretend to be believers in God, as in Christians, aka Protestants, and therefore they themselves being those of the likes who would fall into that category or be classified as some as such, are likewise to be thought of considered to have become or be of the likes. So I say to be much more specific of those, false brethren, supposed so-called holier than thous of modern day religious Pharisees and Sadducees, wolves in sheep's clothing, snakes in the grass, or imposters, infidels, being the religious church hypocrites, religious con artists, religious chameleon, religious charlatans, religious phonies, religious fakes, being of the likes of whom would be of the worst or the worstest of closet devil worshippers, being of whom make up the majority of most churchgoers or whatsoever or whatever religious denomination. From the pools to the pulpits of members and visitors alike, of those of these supposed so-called holier than thous, of the likes of false prophets and or antichrist. Okay. But then if any of you be of the likes of that kind or not, be you religious church hypocrites or of the much more familiar devil worshippers or atheists or agnostics, etc., and regardless of whether you be, the likes of communists and or socialists. But then if you are an internet troll, please go to somebody else's chat room. And as I would appreciate, and I'm sure you would likewise, as well, I was saying, once the light bulb was to come on in your head. Then because life is too short for believers in God and unbelievers and unbelievers alike, or for unsaved human beings who have not been covered by the blood of the Lamb of God. It takes away the sins of the world, who have not been saved by the blood sacrifice of our Lord and Savior Christ, the Messiah, deliverer. This life is too short for any of us. Whereas we all have only one life in this world. No, my bad, correction. The unsaved unbelievers or non-believers have only one life to live in this world. But we as believers in God, as in Christians, aka Protestants, we have two lives. The life we would have lived before we had become saved as unsaved ones, and the life that we would live after we were to become saved by the blood of the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world. Okay? But still are the same while we're on this planet. This is our existence, although it's not our home. This is our existence, like it is for the unsaved unbelievers and non-believers, and whereas we are supposed to, light up the darkness, and to compliment some such of a one-liner out of Will Smith. What should I call it? Prophetic movie flick, for the one, whereas the plot was for a global existence that would reflect reality of what we're going through now. I forgot what it's called, but I'll have to Google it sometime. What was that movie? Hold that thought. I could Google it right quick. Let me get into my cell phone. Okay. But anyway, it's dealing with the same kind of scenario on a global level. Speaking of a pandemic worldwide, it's a Will Smith movie. Let me see, what's that movie called? Just Will Smith pandemic. Will Smith pandemic movie. Sorry about the misspelling again. Okay. See, the Will Smith pandemic movie. Oh yes, I think this is it. It's called Legend, or rather, I Am Legend. That's the whole title of it. And it says here, Robert Neville being of the name of the character that he plays in this movie flick. A brilliant scientist is a survivor of a man-made plague that transforms humans into bloodthirsty mutants. He wanders along through New York City, calling out for other possible survivors, and works on finding a cure for the plague using his own immune blood. So it's called I Am Legend, and it's like a remake of one that had starred Charleston Heston back in, what was it, 60s or 70s? I have to Google that to find out what the title of that one with the similar or the same plot, you know. Let's see. I have to Google Charles Heston. All right, let's spell it again. Charleston Heston. Pandemic. Oh, let's spell it again. Pandemic movie. Okay. Charleston Heston. Pandemic. Oh yeah, okay. And whereas that one was supposed to be called the Omega Man. Charleston Heston, yeah, Charleston Heston Pandemic movie. Okay. It was called the Omega Man. And I think it has the same character name that Will Smith played of the scientist in the remake of that movie. It says here, due to an experimental vaccine, Dr. Robert Neville is the only survivor of an apocalyptic war, with the exception of a few hundred deformed nocturnal people who are also homicidal maniacs. They blame science and technology for their condition, and they see Neville as the last symbol of science. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Right. And whereas the remake was supposed to have been made in 2007 with Will Smith, whereas the original, called by its title, was one that Will Smith was starring in, being of which was called by its title, the remake being of which was called by its title of I Am Legend, which was produced in 2007 from the original one that has starred Charleston Heston, called by its title of The Omega Man, was made in 1971. You know, so it's like 2 or 3 decades ago. Yeah. Okay. But then getting back to some of such other, before I lose my train of thought, you all. How I got on that, I don't know. I was say something in regard to whatever the times that we're living in, and how you know, how I'm trying to or about broadcasting regardless of the time we live in, something like that. I can't remember exactly. Sorry about that. But before I lose any more of my train of thought, but then you notice the title, you know, as I have it here, and as it is not so much as a quarantine compared to a 30-day challenge otherwise. You know, and it's past my bedtime hour, and I'm going to call it a night shortly, you all. Yeah. But so I'm just trying to finish up the 30-day challenge I have. I have called it the 6th day of summer such, because I don't know what day I had last left off, as I had explained to you all, you know, before. And so I say, and speaking upon those matters, whereas I had become subjected to experiencing, what was it? Was it a computer glitch, or worse yet, a computer hacker? Maybe was that being of a proverbial neighbor from hell, who they thought you all. You know, whatever the case may have been, that my person had been momentarily disrupted or interrupted in my broadcast, you all, for this particular, you know, for that particular scheduled appointed date of a social media broadcast. And therefore, although regardless of how I'm not responsible for that having happened as it did, but again, nevertheless, I am obligated to finish up, as I was saying in the footnotes here, the same or similar so line of thought, to be committed to the cause of what is it, journalism or whatever. If I am a social media broadcaster, then to be mislabeled as someone that is phony or fake, when I believe in keeping it, like say, or how you say, or how did they put it? How they say 100, you know, not that all news is fake news, you know, or practical or possibly like a certain President dotard defeated who has lost the general political election, and now it is being handed over to his, at one time or another, political challenger who has become the political winner, you know, who will be the new resident of 1600 South Pennsylvania Avenue for Black Lives Matter Boulevard within our nation's capital, as we have the DC. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not against our president defeated altogether. I mean, there were some things that he himself had done that I liked compared to other things, being of which I didn't like that he himself had done or did, you know. But it seems like, you know, as the days and nights, not just months and weeks, but as the days and nights wind down for him to be kicked to the curb or bounced from the White House, he seems to be becoming, like say, or how you say, you know, more like think at one time or another he was making fun of the mentally challenged. That wasn't like nice, you know. I say, how you say, that's like, you know, Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge making fun of Tiny Tim. And I would hope that President Donald Dotard Trump will finally see the errors of his ways and try to make amends, unless he himself wants to be visited by the three spirits or the three ghosts, the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas future. Then at one time or another, I had been visited by all three myself, you know. You know, and you know, like so. Whereas, if we are not good stewards of the planet Earth, then how can we become or be good stewards of the kingdom of heaven for persons or humans among ourselves who claim to represent the children of light over the children of darkness? It is up to us. Oh, now I remember something I was about to say in regard to that movie flick or Hollywood, California, most picture production that I was telling you all about, you know, that reflects reality as we have it for the present, for the global community. But in one part of that movie, Will Smith was like saying, you know, it is up to us, so I paraphrase it, not quote exactly, who bear the light to light up the darkness. He was saying how at one time or another, Bob Marley had become subjected to experiencing a physical attack. He had to recuperate within the atmosphere for premises and properties of a local vicinity area neighborhood hospital. And whereas someone was asking him, in more words or less, how can you go back out and perform for your audience all while knowing what had happened to you most recently, was you have to have more time to become or be rehabilitated. And he was saying, in answering that question that was posed, and we were like saying something like along the lines of, so I paraphrase it, not quote exactly. If those who are committed to causing chaos or mayhem or havoc in the world don't take a day off, then why should I? Therefore, it is up to us to light up the darkness in the world. And President Donald Dotard Trump had the chance to do that by denouncing the racist rednecks nationwide when he had the opportunity, the chance to do something such as that on national television, not only national television, but global television. But he still refused to do so. And that could have possibly cost him this last general political election. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. What up, though? Huh? You feel me? You understand where I'm coming from? Huh? Yeah, because he refused to light up the darkness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Can you feel these vibes? Be about the peace, the peace, the peace, the peace. I may not agree with what you say, but I'll defend your right to say it. Because none of us here live in a dictatorship, but we, as a free people, live within a democratic republic or a democracy, for what it's worth. Though I wish, the higher powers would make more police officers or cops accountable for their actions when they misrepresent that badge and that uniform they wear. Be they shooting unarmed non-white males in the back like one cowardly cowboy would do another cowboy in the old Western days of our own American cowboy West history, or like the most recent incident when some such police officer cops raided this one woman's place of residence, where they had the wrong address. Shame on y'all. You poor excuses of men, making the rest of your fellow police officers and cops look bad. Shame on y'all. That ain't right, y'all. You hear? That's stunk to high heaven. That was foul, like something fishy in Denmark. Anyway, though, my peace, my folks, I'm about to wrap this up, because this here Frankenstein with my ugly mug, I don't mean to belittle or downgrade myself, then I have yet to get a new set of teeth at an affordable price for a dentist office with what limited or fixed annual income that I'm on, and see if the free medical clinic will pay for some of such, for my upper and lower, rows of teeth, for the ones that are missing, get some implants, some artificial implants. But anyway, though, this supposed so-called Frankenstein or Dr. Frankenstein, whatever I've said, I have to get my beauty rest, Y'all can relate to that, especially if you have a neighbor from hell, like what I have for myself. Then all I can do is pray for my enemies. I can't force them, to go for the blessings of God. They have to find it for themselves, mainly or mostly. All I can do is intervene as an angel in disguise, regardless of how they may come at me like demons in the flesh, like this one demon-possessed, demonic, proverbial neighbor from hell, of a public nuisance, a problem neighbor, who is a real El Stupido dumb called sickle, like bum, 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 like some or such others of licensed kind. But anyway, though, I'm going to conclude on this last note of interest, you all. And I hope that you all have gotten at least something out of what I was saying, in general, in one regard or another, especially the part about the gospel messages of our Lord and Savior Christ, the Messiah deliverer, But then I'm really not on here to entertain as much as I am upon here for this social media website address as account holder there for my own personal channel and or chat room to educate and or enlighten. Then because that's just me, y'all. You hear what I'm saying? Can you feel me? That's just me, y'all. Yes, baby boys and baby girls, ladies and gentlemen, cowboys and girls, dudes and dudettes, my fellow American citizens and foreigners, Not that I'm about to run for the presidency of the USA like Kanye West, especially when I don't have any experience. I yet to get experience whereas I could, run a political campaign to become, a mayor of a great metropolitan city, or to become a governor of a state within the union, let alone a future president of the USA. If I were to go there, I would like to become president of the one world government or leader of the new world order. But if it is based upon Christ, our Lord and Savior, otherwise, if it's based upon the Antichrist, I want no part of that. And these are the times we're living in, with, the lights are going to be headhunting. Anybody and everybody that oppose a one world government of that nature, especially when it comes to believers in God, as in Christians, aka Protestants like me myself. Whereas you think that what's going on in the commie fascist dictatorship of North Korea is bad. Imagine that atmosphere becoming worldwide or on a global level, up under the last and final false prophet Antichrist and the beast with the 3 6s. But anyway, though, if you haven't gotten Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, I will hope that you would think to do so now. With minds intention, while the blood is still running warm in your veins, by recognizing or realizing what he himself had done or did upon the cross of Calvary on the hill of Golgotha, suffering at the hands of some Roman soldiers up on the orders of their superiors, be they religious or otherwise, that's including the Pharisees and or Sadducees, but then nevertheless, whereas he himself had went to that cross of Calvary, become the perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me, to have given his life upon that cross of Calvary. So that if any of us, being of whatsoever race and whatever walks of life, fashion of society, or lifestyle preferences, being of the old, young, alike, of both two sexual genders, of males and females, represent not only the human species, but then nevertheless the global community within this post-911 era of a new millennium apocalyptic generation, whereas the doomsday clock is now at a few minutes to midnight, compared on how formerly previous prior to then it was a quarter midnight for these rather biblically prophetic time. Word to profess some such faith in them. From there we become or be blessed in one regard or another, more ways one. First and foremost, with this salvation, being of which is the only means by which we can or could possibly become citizens of the kingdom of heaven. And the second of all, with his deliverance. But first you have got to get his salvation before you can be blessed in any regard, being that because that is not only the more important, but the most important blessing you can receive. Otherwise, your final destination, once you were to make that transition for the great beyond, the hereafter, afterlife, will be the lake of fire, damn hell, to be assembled with the rest of the unsaved, unbelievers, and non-believers, down for all eternity, to be terrorized and terrorized by the devil and the demon forever, compared to how we, being of believers in God as in Christians, aka Protestants, will be across that great divide that separates that being of heaven from hell, and in the company of like-minded believers, as well as in the presence of God, for that of the kingdom of heaven. Otherwise, you all take care and be blessed. Be blessed, not stressed. Peace, love, and joy, happiness. Until we meet again. Until then, bye-bye.